सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराज्यं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन् ऊदिभिः सीदसादनं महागणपतये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। So we start with chanting the invocation verse given by Shankaracharya. So I read, then you repeat. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumuchunam Hidarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate. Once more. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam hidarthaya Tattvabodho vidhiyate. So after the prayer, seeking Guru's and the Lord's blessing for the successful completion of your enterprise, you actually enter into the study. Now we begin the study. The next part, the next one, sadhana chadushtaya sambanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhudam tattva viveka prakaram vachyamaha. So just to listen, you may or may not be able to recite it or read it, but just listening the Sanskrit words are very pleasing. Let us read it once more. Sadhana chadushtaya sampanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhudam tattva viveka prakaram vachyamaha. So vachyamaha means we shall expound or we shall teach you now. So Shankara uses the plural we, just to indicate that this is not his private creation. This knowledge is not his private creation. The knowledge is something which has been handed down to him from a great succession of teachers, beginning with Vasudeva himself. So Krishna himself, this knowledge has been handed down. Now he is the blessed recipient of his knowledge. He learned it, he meditated on it, and he experienced it. Now he is sharing with those seekers who have assembled around him. That is why he says, we shall explain. Otherwise that we looks little presumptuous. But the only meaning of the we is that I am not alone in this path. It is a great boon that I got from my teachers. So we shall explain. Vachyama. What you will explain? Tattva viveka prakaram. Prakara means a methodology or that process of tattva viveka. Viveka means discrimination, discernment. So you have to understand the truth from the untruth. Unfortunately, truth and untruth is mixed, an unholy wedlock. And we often give emphasis to the untruth because that is what impinges upon your senses, your mind. That is what which you can measure, cut into pieces and manipulate. So whatever is visible or whatever can be manipulated, handled, that alone you believe. Beyond it, we are not able to understand. So the truth and untruth are mixed up. And you cannot see truth separate from untruth with this sensate or material eyes. You need a subtle eye. And that eye can be cultured and cultivated only by the process of discrimination, discernment. So that has to happen in your buddhi. Buddhi is a special faculty that the spiritual seekers have to cultivate. Buddhi is the faculty of discernment, discrimination, and separating the chaff from the grain. You have to remove the chaff and blow it off, and then retain the grain, the truth. That process is called viveka prakaram. Viveka, vivichya jnanam. And Shankaracharya, so tattva viveka prakaram. I hope you see that word, tattva viveka prakaram. And Shankaracharya gives a lot of examples to explain this process. He says it is like separating the white pith from a green stalk or stem. You pluck a grass and you find the green stem, and if you go inside you find the white pith. So separating the white pith from the green stalk. That's one example given. Similarly, we have to separate the truth from the untruth, the real from the unreal. Another example given by Shankaracharya is Vivicha Tandulam Yadha. Tandula is the paddy. Now paddy inside is the rice. So you have to separate the rice from the paddy. So paddy has that grey shell around it, and you have to separate it. Then alone it becomes edible. You cannot eat the paddy. You have to separate the grain from the paddy. So similarly, you have to separate the self from the non-self, the real from the unreal. Another example given is that of tender coconut. If you want to drink tender coconut water, they will give you a huge coconut with a fibrous exterior. There is a hard shell, and inside is the coconut milk, and still inside is the sweet tender water. So you have to reject everything else and then come to the tender water. And having taken the tender water, then you throw away the shell, or it can be used for many other mundane purposes. So similarly, one has to separate the tender water. Just as you separate the tender water from the coconut shell, similarly one has to separate the self or the truth from the untruth. And that you cannot do in the material, the outer world. It has to be done in the sacred space of the buddhi. It has to be understood there. You cannot make a physical or material separation. It has to be understood in the brain. And that process is called Tattvabodha, discriminative understanding. Discrimination is a much misunderstood word in this culture. You are discriminating, women are discriminated, disabled people are discriminated, old people are discriminated, blacks are discriminated, poor people are discriminated. So that kind of a wrong meaning is given in this culture to the word discrimination. Here what Shankaracharya means is an ability to discriminate between good and bad. It's a value. Between ugly and beautiful, between desirable and undesirable, between what is lasting and fleeting, between what is real and unreal. So that kind of a discrimination is a healthy discrimination. What the kind of discrimination we are condemning is unhealthy discrimination, of discriminating one section of people against another section of people. That's not the discrimination which is implied here. And then continuing that metaphorical explanation, Shankaracharya says it is something like discriminating a wave from the water. Think of it. How do you separate the wave from the water? If you try to separate the wave from the water, there is no wave. Meaning the truth of the wave is the water. So that is the ultimate form of separation, where you misunderstand something for something else. That misunderstanding is removed. Then you know the truth as it is. So that is the ultimate form of discrimination, knowing the difference between truth and untruth, the false and the real, the fake and the truth. That is the ultimate form of discrimination. So Tattva Viveka Pragaram Vakshyama. So Shankara says, I am going to explain to you that process of discriminating Tattva, the real, from the Adattva, the unreal. And every experience is a mixture of truth and untruth. every experience. And unfortunately our attention goes to the untruth rather than the truth. Suppose somebody say you are a donkey. I always tell this example. And it creates an experience in you. And how do you apply this process of discrimination, tattva? What is the truth in that statement? Is there any truth in that statement? If you apply this methodology, okay, he called me a donkey. Now you have to apply this process. Why is he saying that? What kind of experience is that? And then when you look at that experience, you understand that person is not able to see properly. That is the truth. He has got a defective vision. Therefore, he is not able to see the spatial distance between me and an actual donkey. I am a biped. The donkey is on 4 legs, and it moves horizontally, and I grow vertically. And these differences are not understood. The discrimination is not there in that person. That is why he chose to call me a donkey. I must pity him instead of getting worked out when I hear that. This is how you bring the process of discrimination into an experience. Or further you can go into that. He called me a donkey, and maybe he is a very wise man. He sees the same God in a donkey as well as in a human being. Therefore, I must fall at his feet for teaching me this great truth, that there is no essential difference between a donkey who is an expression of divinity and me who also is an expression of divinity. So you bring that discrimination. There is a kernel of truth in what he has said. Or you can also think, this is the first time I am hearing the truth. That this man has somehow discovered it, and then he is courageous enough to tell the truth. Even then, I have nothing to worry about it. This way you can apply this process of discrimination in every experience and try to find out the truth and untruth in that experience. This is what is called, and you can extend it to the ultimate limits and come to know your real nature. So, Tattvabodha prakaram pakshyamaha. I am going to explain the process of discriminative understanding of the truth. So, by a process of negation through meditation, the Acharya, the teacher, is trying to make you see your real nature, tattva, your real truth, your real essence. So he will be employing this technique, and this technique involves a process of negation. This I am not, this I am not. So thus a point will come when you can no more negate. That point is your essential nature. It's like wearing a lot of costumes. You can remove one after another, the overcoat, the inner coat, the vest, the underwears, everything you can remove, and your essential nature will be revealed in the process. Similarly, you remove these costumes, these vestures, one after another. That is called the process of negation. And the process of negation involves witnessing, the process of witnessing, or sakshi bhav they call. So vaya negativa or nedi prakriya, or just a witness. Assume the attitude of a witness. I am the witness of all this is happening. Thus you can reach the sense of your nature. So witnessing or non-reaction, dispassion, cultivate dispassion. So meditation involves dispassion, witnessing, as well as negating the non-essential and reaching the essential nature. So by that process, Shankaracharya takes you to your essential nature. This I would call meditation, contemplation. And this will give you the knowledge of your true self. So one method is, the first technique is to go inward and come to realize your essential nature, changeless essential nature. The other method given here is Tattva Utpatti Pragar, that you will see in the second section of this book. One is Tattva Viveka Pragar. The other is Tattva Utpatti Pragaram. The Utpatti, the creation, the manifestation, emanation of 24 tattvas from this essential nature. So on one side it takes you to the depth of your being. On another side it takes you through various stages of manifestation, emanation. And I would call that is a process of integration. One is a process of negation to reach your essential nature, and from that platform, when you look at the world, you can integrate the whole world. So that gives you the experience of devotion. Devotion means integrating more and more into your consciousness. Meditation means negating whatever is possible from your consciousness. So there is Tattva Utpatti Pragaram. I have explained this Tattva. No, it's not there. Okay. Tattva Utpatti Pragaram. Yeah, here it is. Tattva Utpatti Pragaram and Tattva Viveka Pragaram. Two processes are said. One is an inward journey. So Pindanda, Jiva, and you come to the Atma state, the essential nature. And the other is a process of integration. More and more are integrated into you. So one gives you the experience of devotion, love. What is after all love? Love means accommodation. When I say I love you, I can accommodate you with all your tantrums, with all your problems, with all your idiosyncrasies. I am able to live with you. That's the meaning of love. In love there is no conditions. No conditions are set in love. Whatever you are, I accept you. That's the meaning of love. So love means accommodation, integration. And in the process, you should not get displaced. You should not become a sick person. After giving you a lot of love for 20 years, now I have got a heart problem. So that is not love. Love means integration without yourself getting displaced or disintegrate. You keep your core. From your core, a blissful core, you relate with the entire universe. Then alone it can be called love. Otherwise it will be only an emotional expression from a very shallow level of your personality. So that these two processes are described in Tattvabodha. One I would call a process of meditation and reaching your essential nature. The other is process of devotion, integration, and understanding and integrating the entire universe. One is devotion, bhakti. The other is knowledge or bodha, jnana. Both are two sides of the same coin. Without jnana, knowledge, you cannot have devotion, love. Without love, you cannot have knowledge. They go hand in hand. So Tattva Utpatti Pragaram. So Tattva Viveka Pragaram. Tattva Utpatti Pragaram will be discussed later. So now we are trying to understand the Tattva Viveka Pragaram. Why do you explain to me this? So this Tattva Viveka is to be conducted, or this discriminative activity should be conducted in your buddhi, because you will not be able to discriminate physically. Buddhi one has to do. Buddhi is a very subtle faculty in all of us. but we have not developed it properly. The ability to discern and judge, that ability is not there. Some or other people have lost it. They are not able to have that taste of discrimination. It's something like tasting wine, I should say. You take a mouthful of wine and roll it in your mouth and you say, this is the best wine. Ordinary people cannot do that. For them, all wine are the same wine. There is no discrimination. Tasting tea. Take a mouthful of tea, roll it in your mouth, and you are able to say, this is the Darjeeling tea. This is a Sri Lankan tea. This is a South Indian tea. You are able to say that because you have a very developed sense of discernment. So that is to be cultivated. That's called buddhi. And in that cultivation, the heart also is involved. Your love for the subject or love for the person. So heart is involved, the brain is involved, and even your nabhi is involved. Because you need a gut feeling also in the process. Without activating that, you will not be able to discern. That's why such people are called gurus, management guru. They just come, you tell your problem, they scratch their head a little, and then immediately they give you the solution. This is what you should do. How did you arrive at that? Because he has got an integrated buddhi where his gut, his heart and his brain work in unison. He has cultivated over a period of time. Mere analytical abilities are not enough. Mere emotions are not enough. Mere gut also is not enough. You need a harmonious instrument. So that I would call the buddhi. It is not just analytical. You put passion into the crucible of analysis. That also is not enough. You have to cook it in the fire of your gut feelings. Then alone that faculty will arise. So that is called the buddhi. That's why when you meditate, you are very calm and quiet. There is no distraction. You have become like a piece of stone. Patanjali calls Shushka Vrichavada. You become like a dry stump of a tree. There is no movement whatsoever. And others will think you are sleeping, because that is what they do in the name of meditation. What you are doing is, you are trying to pierce the veil of truth with that kind of a mind. Your mind becomes like a vajra, a diamond, and you are trying to penetrate and pierce and see the face of a truth. That's why he is doing, but others can't understand. They say he is wasting time, his time and my time also. So this is, buddhi is a special instrument that you culture and cultivate. So there is where this viveka happens. Tattvabodha pragaram vachyama. Now the next question is that, why do you bother me with this Tattvabodha pragaram? It's very difficult to pronounce, and it is in Sanskrit, and why do you bother me with this? What do I gain out of it? What is the benefit? What is the benefit? It says, moksha sadhana bhodam. That is the moksha. Sadhana means means. That is the means, sadhanam, for moksha, liberation, salvation, realization, enlightenment, to have an interview with God. If you need to see God face to face in whatever way you said it, different traditions describe this differently. A theistic tradition will say seeing God, living in the presence of God. A Vedantic tradition will say having enlightenment, realization, or bliss, happiness. By whatever way you know it, moksha, sadhana, bodham. This is the sadhana, means the great road which will take you to the land of moksha or liberation. And you want it, then this is the process. If you don't want it, then you don't have to worry about it. So if you want to reach moksha this way, this is the exit point. If you don't want to moksha, go ahead and go to hell. So he says, this is your way to moksha sadhana bhudam. Because we all are naturally, instinctively aspiring moksha, freedom. All of us. It is not a cultivated desire. The desire for laddu, the desire for ice cream, these are all cultivated. If you don't know about ice cream, you don't seek after that. But this moksha desire is something which is natural. It is much deeper than hunger and thirst, which is natural. So therefore, you have no choice in that. The only question is that have you discovered it or not. And all your restlessness is because you are not a free person. You are not a happy person. So through all your restless searchings in the world, you are announcing your desire for moksha. Probably you don't know that. So moksha me bhuyat. May I be a free being. May I have free expression of my energies without any hindrance. That's the meaning, another meaning of freedom. A free expression of your energy. A free expression of your talents. Where there is no fear whatsoever. Where you are happily doing it. That's another meaning of moksha. Whatever I do it happily. Otherwise, as the way I am living today, whatever I do unhappily. I do it, but unhappily. But can I do my work happily? Can I exist in this world happily? So, moksha me bhuya. So, moksha is my desire. For that, Tattvabodha is very, very important. Why Tattvabodha? Because you have to know your essential nature. When you know your essential nature, then you become a free person. Because by nature you are free. Your nature is happiness. That we don't realize. So know your nature. So moksha sadhana bhudam. Okay, that's fine. I need moksham, freedom, that inner joy and bliss, self-realization. And I am ready to follow your prakara method of Tattvabodha, discrimination between what is real and unreal in my buddhi. But my problem is, sir, I have been hearing to you for the last 25 years. Nothing happened to me. Nothing has happened. I have been listening very intently, very carefully, but nothing is happening. What is the reason? What is the reason? The reason is, Shankaracharya says, you don't have a appropriate mind, develop disciplined mind. Because the disciplined mind is very, very important. Just as when you go on a long drive, you will see the car is road worthy. Petrol is there, engine is okay, everything is fine. You have to make sure the car which you drive is road worthy. Otherwise you won't reach your destination. Don't blame the driver. Or an aeroplane, before it takes off, they make sure, the engineer makes sure the aeroplane is space worthy or flying worthy or fit for flying. So to a ship, sail worthy. Similarly, you must make sure the mind, you are prepared, you have all the disciplines necessary for this meditative process. And what are those disciplines? Qualification expected of a true seeker. Now when we discuss these disciplines, now we are very eager to know what are those disciplines. Do I fulfill all those disciplines? Do I have all of them? So here is a checklist given. See whether you have all these disciplines. And if you don't fulfill these disciplines, then what should I do? Should I stop coming? No. Try to cultivate those disciplines. It is not that if I don't have this discipline, therefore I am not fit for this. You are fit for this. And over a period of time, you must make enough effort to cultivate these disciplines. So he says, sadhana chatushtaya sambanna adhigarina. Adhigari means fit students. You must be a fit student for this discipline, adhigari. And what determines the fitness? It says these qualifications. Sadhana chatushtayam, fourfold qualification. Sadhana means qualification. So we require this fourfold qualification to make you fit for this study and inquiry and meditation. There are people who just meditate, they just sit, close their eyes and meditate, nothing happens. The first 2 days there is a lot of energy because they are trying to sit properly, and then it is a different experience for them. They say, Swamiji, I reached the 7th heaven or 9th heaven, whatever it is. Then after 2 days you are in the same old situation. You are not interested in meditation. So meditation without this prior qualification will not take you far. That does not mean you should not sit and meditate, but it will not give you expected reward or results. So sadhana chatushtayam, these fourfold qualifications, sampanna, endowed with these fourfold qualifications, when you try to meditate, you will be able to reach the essential nature of your being. So what are those fourfold qualifications? I hope that question comes to your mind. May I know what are those fourfold qualifications? Just to know whether I possess them. If I don't possess them, I can make an honest effort to possess them, so that the study and this effort become fruitful. So one has to see whether one has all these qualifications, or does the student possess all these qualifications. If you don't have it, then you don't make much progress in the path of spirituality. So sadhana chatushtaya sambannadhikarina moksha sadhana bhutam tattvavibodha prakaram vachyamaha. So the key word here is sadhana chatushtayam, the fourfold qualification. Chatushtaya means fourfold qualification. Moksha, that is another key word, and tattva viveka prakaram, another key word. Tattva viveka is the process of discrimination. Now we continue. So when this was said, the student raises his hand and says, Sir, may I know what are these qualifications expected of me? May I know it? The question, sadhana chatushtayam kim? What are these fourfold qualifications? So here is the exchange between the guru and disciple. Then the guru proceeds. Unfortunately, here it is not possible. Immediately the student will ask, what are those fourfold qualifications? In the Vedantic discourse, most of your questions are anticipated. The guru knows these questions because he himself went through those processes. So therefore, most of your questions are anticipated. So if you have enough patience, you will see that your questions are anticipated. Not only anticipated, it is put much better than you could express. So therefore, we don't have to worry at all. So sadhana chatushtayam kim, what are the fourfold qualifications? Answer. The first qualification is nitya vastu vivekaha. That is the first qualification expected of a student. Nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. I have briefly mentioned that there is, in your experience, is a combination of two factors, and life is a series of experiences. There is nothing but in life. I experience this, I experience that. After all, what is life? Life is nothing but a flow of experiences. That's what the Buddhists say, that's what the Vedantins say. It flows like that. It's a continuous flow, one experience to another experience. And these experiences are either bitter or sweet experiences. Happy experiences unhappy experience. Most of the time it's a mix of happy and unhappy experiences. So these experiences is a combination. There are two factors in all these experiences. One is nityam, what is lasting, and the other is anityam, what is fleeting. So every experience is a combination of these two factors, nitya and anitya. The nitya factor we have to discern, and in anitya factor we have to understand. This is anityam, there is something nityam. So for knowing the self, you have to look into your own experiences. You don't have to go anywhere else, because the whole world is in your experience. You as the experiencer are also in your experience. So there is an experiencer and there is the experienced world. Together it creates the flow of experiences. Take one unit of experience. There is the experienced world and the experiences. Together they create the flow of experience, the dynamics of experience. So nitya, anitya, vastu, vivekaha. So in every experience there is nitya vastu and anitya vastu. I am not saying now what is the nitya vastu and anitya vastu, but there is nitya vastu and anitya vastu, and that one has to discriminate between these two. I gave you a small example. Suppose you are very unhappy about something. Is it nityam or anityam? That unhappiness, anityam. Because for a moment you are unhappy, the next moment you are happy. Is that happiness nityam or anityam? Anityam, because the next moment you are going to be unhappy. Then you think that is nityam. No, that also is not nityam, permanent. Next moment you are going to be angry. Is that nityam or anityam? No, next moment you are very pleasant. So you yourself are confused. Am I happy, unhappy, pleasant, unpleasant, angry, jealous? So morning when I talked to him, I thought you are going to die, commit suicide. And by evening you are dressed up so beautifully, you are going for a party. And I am confused. What is the truth in this? Next morning you are so depressed, by evening you are so much elated and happy. What is the truth in this? The only truth is you, who wear these different costumes and express differently. So there is always the real and unreal in all these experiences. So let us keep those words handy, nitya and anitya, and bring that understanding in the analysis or interpreting your experiences. You have to interpret your experience. So nitya, anitya, vastu. Nitya vastu means that which is real and permanent. Anitya vastu means that which is impermanent and unreal. These two has to be discriminated, and that knowledge is nitya, anitya vastu, viveka. Continuing, so that is the first qualification expected of a student. Then you become little settled. You know even this will pass away. This is only a momentary excitement. When somebody says you are a wonderful person, don't get carried away by that. The following day he will say you are a wonderful. Then you will get unhappy, depressed. So when he calls you wonderful, expect that he has the capacity to call you a wonderful also. So be ready for both. That's another meaning of wisdom, ability to see the beginning and end. Be ready for both. Then you become a discriminating wise person. So nitya, nitya vastu viveka. The next qualification expected of a student is iha mutra artha bhala bhoga viragaha Another quality aspect of student is viragam, dispassion. Dispassion means non-reaction. You don't immediately react to situation. There may be something very good apparently, but you take your own time to react, to respond to it. Somebody tells you, use this, you will become very healthy, your intelligence will develop. Take your own time. Don't get immediately attracted or repelled by many objects that is there in front of you. So viraga means dispassion. You take time to respond or react to situations. The modern man's problem is reaction is very fast. Very fast reaction. When you see something, immediately you must buy it. Whether you need it, and you have the credit card also. Whether you need it, whether it is healthy for you, when will you use it, do you have the time, without regard to any of this. Immediate reaction. So dispassion means detachment from objects of pleasure or painful objects. So viragaha, dispassion. Dispassion towards what? Bhalabhogam. Bhoga means enjoyment. We are always thinking of enjoying many objects. And these objects which you enjoy, they are iha, amutra, artha, bhalam. These objects are the rewards or the results of your own deeds, past deeds. So because of your past deeds, you come to enjoy or suffer the present experiences. So these objects of experience which you suffer or enjoy, to which you react violently, a seeker, he gains an inner quality not to react to them. So that dispassion towards objects, good and bad, that visits you as a result of your past deeds. And these objects can be iha, now, here, or amutra, then, there. The present and the future possibilities, you are dispassionate towards them. You don't get overtly excited. Of course, people may say, oh, he is not, he doesn't have fun in life. That's the word now, have fun. Have fun means have more and more experiences, more and more excitement, more and more roller coaster ride. That is what the meaning of have fun. Here is a person who is very detached. He will think twice to react to situations. The modern man's problem is he lost that capacity. There is no control system in him. He violently reacts. Good things, desirable object, he runs for them. Undesirable object, he runs away from them. This is our situation now. So have dispassion. Dispassion is an important quality. Continuing. So these are all very meaningful words. Iha means here, now. Objects available now, here. And object you expect to get then, there. That also can excite you. While you are enjoying eating your breakfast, what are you thinking? Oh, after this I will go there and meet that person and have a nice time. So here you are enjoying, you are thinking of the future enjoyment. And in the process we are getting exiled from ourselves. We are moving away from our own inner joy, our own inner state. Siha mutrartha bhalabhoga viragaha. So viraga, dispassion, is an important quality. This is how you integrate. Otherwise, we become a totally externalized person. There is no inner life at all. So dispassion. Continuing. Shamadhi Shatka Sambatti. Now Shatka Sambatti is sixfold accomplishment. Sharkam means 6, Sambati means accomplishment, beginning with Shama, he says. So in fact there are not 4, there are 9 qualifications. But to make it sweeter, he had reduced it to 4, that is all. There are 9 qualifications. So he said, no, only 4. But when you come to the third one, there are 6 more qualifications. So in fact I was counting how many are there, 9 qualifications are there. What are those? Shamadhi, Sharka, Sambati. So Sharkam means 6, Sambati means accomplishments, Adi means beginning with, Shama, etc. What are they? It will be said. So Shama, Dama, Uparama, Shraddha, Tijiksha, Samadhanam. 6-fold qualification, which you will read. Don't have to worry. And finally, Shamadhi, Sarka, Sambati. So that's a set of qualifications. And then the 4th is Mumuchuttum cha idi. Finally, Mumuchutvam. Mumuchutta means the burning desire for God, the burning desire for enlightenment. You are not ready to slow down. You are going like an arrow towards it. You don't say, oh, it can wait. After all, I could manage without enlightenment so far. So why the hurry? Let me have a little more enjoyments, because I may not have it. Something like when you want to stop smoking or drinking. Tomorrow you are going to take that decision. So today you drink to the hilt. You smoke as many cigarettes as possible. You drink as many drops, as many liquor is possible. So he says that will not work. So here you have to mumuchutam, a burning passion, desire for moksha. So mumuchutam, of course the examples are given. It's like a person who is pushed under the water. He craves for a whiff of air. He craves for it. There's no other thought. Or a person whose beard caught fire. He runs to the nearest water tank or tap because he has to get some water. At that time, if you ask him, would you like an ice cream? He will say, not sir, keep it, I'll come back. First of all, let me put out the fire. So similarly, you cannot, you go like an arrow to the destination. Similarly, you must have the mumuchutam, moksho me bhuyadidi icha, mumuchuda. It's the burning desire, passion for. And some people accepted it, like a Jesus Christ, like a Socrates, a Mahatma Gandhi. These are the great men, and these are the known people. There are unknown, umpteen people, unknown, in every corner of the world who had this fire in the belly. Now that word is used wrongly, fire in the belly. It's used for business executives, fire in the belly. Really that expression was for spiritual people. They experience a strong urge, enormous energy, endless energy. This instrument become a means of invoking that endless energy. It is possible. We ourselves experienced it. When you are depressed, there is no energy. But when you are inspired, there is endless energy. So, mumuchutum cha idi. So, that passion for mumuchutva is very, very important. So, that flame should be ever alive in our heart, so that when our experiences come, you are able to process those experiences. Will this lead me to moksha? Will this lead me to the presence of God? Will it give me that inner bliss? Every experience is processed like that. Every relationship is processed like that. Every thought is processed like that. It is not that you entertain thoughts uncontrollably. So that's how we reorganize your life. So mumuchutam cha idi, mumuchutam cha and mumukshuttva. Idi thus. Thus means that's the end of those fourfold qualifications. So the Acharya, the Guru, gives a enumeration of these qualities, and now the disciple asks, what are they? Can you further explain them? Because these qualifications seems to be critical to my spiritual evolution. Therefore, can you explain to me in detail? Because I find these qualifications cannot be practiced, they have to be understood. Certain things, suppose you want to develop your muscles, you can go and lift and bigger stones. That's where you can develop it. But these qualifications, you cannot go and do some push-up and cultivate this. But you have to understand the meaning. The more we discuss, the more it awakens in you. It comes through discussion, mutual sharing. So sharing is very important. So clarity comes. The clarity comes, these qualifications naturally arise in you. Just as love arises when you have a baby, true unconditional love. Similarly, through this process of discussion, we find ourselves cultivating or discovering these qualifications. So the student asks a further question, can you explicate the meaning of these qualifications? So that will be the next question of the student. So these qualifications, fourfold qualifications, which will facilitate your spiritual practice, are embedded in your consciousness. You don't have to bring it from outside. It is native to your awareness. So what we have to do is to discover it, nurture it, and nourish it. So it's a natural process. There is no struggle involved in it. If you understand these values or qualifications as your own innate embedded nature. That's why in the Vedantic tradition we don't impose values. We only help you discover those values. And the Vedantic masters believe that each one of you have these disciplines, these qualities deep inside you. So it's a loving attitude, a tolerant attitude, which will bring up these qualities, help you discover these qualities. Otherwise, you will force it on you, and that becomes a big burden. And then you are not able to enjoy these values, it becomes an authoritarian discipline, and you want to rebel against it. And whenever opportunity, circumstance arise, you behave differently. So you develop a split personality, a neurotic personality. That is what we should avoid in the cultivation of these values. So when teacher said that, Guru said that you have to have these values to undertake meditation successfully in your pursuit of truth, the student wants more clarification. What do you mean by these qualifications? What are they in daily living experience? How do I experience it? So question. Nitya nitya vastu vivekaha kaha. So the student asks, at least the student learned these words. Guru said only once or twice, and he learned it. So he asks, he repeats the same word. He says, Nitya anitya vastu viveka. Nitya vastu, what is real, anitya vastu, what is unreal, viveka, what the discrimination between them, the discernment. Kaha, what is it? What do you mean by Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka or Guru? That is the question of the student. Now Guru says, Nitya Vastu Egam Brahma Tadvadiriktam Sarvam Anityam Ayameva Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. Nitya Vastu Egam Brahma. Nitya Vastu means that which is permanent. Is Brahma Egam, one Brahman, or Brahma alone is Nitya Vastu. Brahman alone is Nitya Vastu. Of course, different cultures give different words for this. Yeve is a word used in the Jewish tradition. They use some other words also, I don't remember that now. And in the Christian tradition, God is the word used. In the Chinese tradition, they use the word Dao, the way. In the Hindu tradition, many words are used. Rutam is one word used. The eternal harmony that exists in the world. Rutam. Brahman is another word used. So, Brahman alone is the truth. At least you have word now to play around. Earlier you did not know whether such a was to exist. Now you are given a word Brahman. And the word meaning of Brahman is very interesting. The genesis of that word. It has got three etymological implications. Brahman, that word. One meaning of Brahman is Brahatvat Brahma. Brahatva means the big. Brahman is the big, unqualified bigness. It is not an adjective or something. For example, if I say big, immediately you will ask, what? When I say mosquito, that is not that big anyway. You understand? Because that bigness is qualified by a noun. So here is a bigness, unqualified bigness. Then you may think, maybe that unqualified bigness, what is that? Maybe the space, because that's the biggest I know of. It can accommodate many things, many objects. So therefore, do you mean space, the unqualified bigness? No. Because unfortunately Einstein has discovered space also is relative. Space depends upon the observer. Time, space is one phenomena. Space is an object. So there is something which contains space also, which is the ground for space. What is that? It is your own awareness, consciousness. So ultimately, when we say Brahman, it is my own awareness, consciousness. But we don't use that word here, because when I use the word awareness of consciousness, you have your own ideas, because it's something experiential. So my consciousness, then you will immediately say it is due to the brain processes, blah blah, all that. So that ideas will come. So the Guru does not use the word awareness of consciousness at that point, but he says it is Brahman, that which accommodates everything. So the more you accommodate, the more you discover Brahman. The more you understand what is Brahman. Our problem is we have no accommodation for anybody. Any single incident can disturb you. It can disturb your consciousness. Like a puddle of water. If I put a stone into that puddle of water, it gets disturbed, muddied. If I put a couple of stones in a jug of water, the water overflows because the jug cannot contain it. But I put a big stone into the ocean, nothing happens to the ocean. The ocean does not overflow. Similarly, ordinary people, they have no accommodation. violence and reactions. And as a result, there is so much unhappiness in this world. So when you can accommodate, then your consciousness expands, and as a result, you come nearer to Brahman experientially. So that word Brahman is very, very relevant. Such a possibility exists, where you can accommodate everything. And the second meaning of Brahman is that which expands and contracts, shrinks and expands. That is another meaning of Brahman. It can expand and it can shrink. Vardhanat Brahman. Vardhanat, it can expand and then it can shrink. Modern astrophysicists say there is something which expands of the universe and then it contrasts or shrinks. So that expansive energy, that energy which can expand as the whole universe, is Brahman. And the third meaning of Brahman is Vruddhatamatva, the most ancient, the first primeval cause, the prime mover. Aristotelian concept, the prime mover, the first entity, the first cause, which itself is not caused. So that is another meaning of Brahman. So I give you three meanings: that which can accommodate everything, that which can expand and contrast and contract, shrink. That the meaning it can shrink in such a way that it is beyond time and space. Then it expands. That's another meaning of the expanding universe, the Big Bang, etc. Those ideas are contained in that idea. And the third meaning is Brahman is the first cause or the primary mover. We will leave it at that, Brahman. That three ideas are enough for us for the time being. And so Nityavastu Egam Brahma Tattvabodha Sarvam, anything other than this Brahman, Tattvabodha Sarvam Anityam, everything else is impermanent. Later we will try to locate where is this impermanent, where is this Brahman, etc. We will do that. For the time being, let us be satisfied with these two words. There is Brahman, and that is permanent. Then there is Abrahman, which is impermanent. Abrahman. This may be a pun, but the Semitic religions are called Abrahman religions. Abrahamic religions, Brahman and Abrahman. Brahman means the ultimate, Abrahman means not the ultimate. Many several dualistic religions. And Abraham's first name was Brahm. Yes, Abraham's first name, original name was Abram. Abram. It's not Abraham. Abram. Ham was added later. So one is Abram, not Brahman. Other is Brahman. So we have these two religions, Abrahamic religions and Brahmic religions. You can interpret that way. And there is truth also. Because monotheist religion, there is always a duality. Me and my God. Where it is Jewish or Christian or Islamic religion, there is God and then me. And the twain shall never meet. Because there is always a big chasm in the soul, in the very core of existence, between me and God. Whereas in the Brahmic religions, that wedge is taken out and there is total unity in the Brahmic religion. This is only for our consumption. Don't say this outside, because so nitya vastu egam brahma, but we can amuse ourselves with these kind of thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. So nitya vastu egam brahma, the permanent, that which is permanent is Brahman alone. Tattvabodha sarvam anityam. Everything else is anitya. And further, this idea will be explored further, and we will try to locate the locus of nityam and the locus of anityam later. Where can you see it? That will be done later. So keep it in your mind. If you don't do it, you can ask me. So nitya vastu egam brahma tattvabodha sarvam. Anything other than this, anityam, is impermanent. Ayameva nitya nitya vastu vivekaha. This is what is known as nitya nitya vastu, discriminative understanding, knowledge. This alone is ayameva, this alone is nitya nitya vastu viveka, this discriminative knowledge. So that question is answered satisfactorily. So nitya vastu egam brahma tattvabodha sarvam anityam. Ayameva nitya nitya vastu viveka. Now the student asked the question, viragaha kaha. What is viraga, vairagyam? So we have seen nitya viveka vairagya, next qualification. What do you mean by viraga? That naturally flows from this understanding. There is something permanent, something impermanent, and impermanent is to be understood as impermanent. Permanent is to be understood as permanent. And you cannot make the impermanent into permanent. You have to accept it. The born shall die, it's a law. The born shall die, should die, shall die. Because birth and death come together. Now you cannot say birth is I accept, death I don't accept. You cannot say that. If you are born, you must die. If you are healthy, occasionally you must become unhealthy also. Illness and wellness go together. Only the plastic, real flower, it will bloom, and the morning it blooms, by evening it fades and disappears. A plastic flower may not do that. Similarly, the sign of health, wellness is occasionally you can become ill also. If you say I have never been ill in life, either it is a lie or it shows you don't remember. It is not possible. We have to be ill sometime to enjoy our wellness. To be well means occasionally to be ill. To be born means to die. To die means to be born again, fortunately. So when you die, then again you will be born. You may not remember it, but remembrance is not a test there. So viragaha kaha, what is dispassion? Here he says, iha sarga bhogeshu iccharahityam. Iccharahityam means absence. Absence of desire. Iccharahityam. For what? Bhoga. Bhoga means indulgence. Absence of desire for indulgence. Pleasures. Iha here and sarga there. No desire for pleasure and indulgence, because we have taken it to such a ridiculous extent now. The idea of pleasure, the idea of indulgence, that you have almost destroyed everything. This 3% of the world population enjoying 25% of world resources and contributing to 27% of world pollution, and contributing 100% of world violence and war now. That is the situation. So if you extrapolate, extend it to the whole world, what will happen? And where are you as a result of all this indulgence? We have come to a very unhealthy lifestyle. The modern lifestyle is very, very unhealthy. All kind of GM food, genetically modified food, creates all kind of distractions and illnesses to humankind. The stage will come, all our children will become deformed children, because the kind of food that we eat, the kind of thoughts we entertain, the kind of things we drink and eat and smoke, all these are possible. So it is time for us to halt this trend and bring some sanity, bring some discipline into our life. So he says, bhogam, bhoga is intelligence, the profligacy in our indulgence. Because all the non-renewable resources will be depleted soon. There is nothing else, no water, no oil, no air, decent pure air, everything will go soon. So he says, it's time for us to reduce our indulgence. Somebody will have to pay for it. I always tell this story. This person who read an advertisement of a hotel, 5-star hotel. There you can go and enjoy for 7 days, free. So he read the advertisement and he was very happy, but he did not read the small print of the advertisement. The small print says, you can enjoy 7 days, but the bill will have to be paid by your grandchildren. You know the credit card culture. Don't pay now, enjoy now, and you will have to pay later. And later you may die also, who knows, in the long run all are dead. So you read this, you didn't read the small print, or you didn't bother for the small print, and he checked in the hotel and he enjoyed, and his reason was he is unmarried, so he has no children, no question of grandchildren. Otherwise, he will have some prick of conscience. I may eat and my grandchildren will. So I have no grandchildren. So he checked into the hotel, he enjoyed for 7 days, he enjoyed everything, the whiskey, the brandy, the cigarette, and he took all the toiletries, everything he did. And long distance calls and everything he enjoyed thoroughly. And he was coming out. When he was coming out, the counter clerk called him, come here, here is a bill for you. What bill? You said that I don't have to pay, my grandchildren will pay, and anyway I have no grandchildren, that he told himself. And then he says, this is not your bill, it is your grandparents' bill, he says, because your grandparents enjoyed here, therefore you have to pay for them. See, there is no free lunch, that's the idea. Sometime, somewhere, you have to pay, somewhere down the road, the payment, the long arm of karma is there to catch you. So he says, it is time for us to reduce our indulgence. Indulgence, profligacy, vulgar consumption, these are the words used, addiction. And this also extends to your desire for Swarga, meaning overt concern for your security, comforts. That's the idea of Swarga. Today I am okay, but what about tomorrow? The mind can think about the tomorrow, project insecurities for the tomorrow. So not only you want for today, you have to accumulate for tomorrow also. Like the Egyptian pharaohs, they buried themselves around all kind of conceivable luxuries. So this kind of a greed of humankind, we have to put an end to that. So viragaha kaha, what is viraga? Ichcharahityam, absence of desire, greed for indulgence, for enjoyment here and hereafter. And that requires a lot of clarity, faith, trust. Otherwise, it is difficult. You always need You also have the desire to accumulate. That's why one of the value discussed is tyaga or sharing, dana. Dana, tyaga, these are some of the values discussed. So, iha sarga bhogeshu ichcharahityam, absence of desire. If somebody asks you, do you need this? Do you need this? Immediately you don't have to possess it. You can say, I don't need it. As they say, when is less is more for you. It's a very interesting philosophy. The less you have, the more space you have, the more you can invoke yourself. Less clutter outside and inside. But most of the people don't have that feeling. Less means less. Understand? And the situation is you need more and more to get less and less. That's another problem with this philosophy, which is called addiction. You need more and more. When you smoke the first cigarette, it gave you such a kick. But next time you have to need 2 cigarettes to get the same kick, or maybe less kick. Now a situation has come, you have to smoke all the cigarettes in the world, and what you get is nothing, no kick at all. That is the real kick. Understand? All the cigarettes in the world, no kick at all, which is known as addiction. You have become an addict. That is the greatest pain. That's the real hell. The real hell is greed for more and more, and the grossness that you develop as a result of that, and you get less and less out of it, and the situation comes, you are really lost. So reduce your needs, less and enjoy more, more and enjoy less. That's why nowadays they ask, when is less more for you? When will you get that insight where less is enough for you? Iha sarga bhogeshu ichcharahityam, that is called. So then you become an uncluttered person. Iha sarga bhogeshu ichcharahityam. Now continuing, shamadhi sadhana sambatti ka. Ka, what are sambatti, these accomplishments known as shama, etc., or beginning with shama. What are those accomplishments? Answer, immediate answer. Guru did not say, let me refer the dictionary now. Immediately he said, these are the qualifications. And the Vedanta tradition, memory is very important. You cannot have this in the tape recorder and in the notebook and forget about it. You must put it in your brain. That is one problem with the Western culture. They don't cultivate the memory, the unconscious. Everything that they know is in the book. Of course, they cultivate analytical skills. Analytical skills are good for manipulating the world. That doesn't help you to organize, transform yourself. So one problem we are encountering is the inability to remember anything. You don't remember anything. As a result, there is no transformation. You are able to change the world, material situation, because of the analytical power. So what do you require for spiritual? Memories to be cultivated, so that ideas are available for you. You don't have to look into the book. When you face should I be angry or not, let me look into the book. Understand? By the time you are angry, you are in the hospital. So that's very, very important. Now, Shamadhi Sadhana Sambatti Ka, what do you know? What is known as these 6-fold accomplishments? Now, it's enumerated here. Shama, Dama, Uparama, Didiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam cha, Iti. So, Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam Chaidi. These are the 6 accomplishments, 6 qualifications you have to gain. What are they? Question. Shama kaha. So immediately the student asks, what do you mean by Shama? Mano nigraha. Answer. Shama means Mano nigraha, a certain control, command over the mind, over your emotion. Because mind is the seat of emotions. Certain control. Nigraha means not absolute liquidation or elimination. Nigraha means bringing the mind under control. Like even you bring a horse under control. Because you have to ride the horse. If you want to ride the horse, the horse should be under your control, the reins. You use the reins to control the horse. If you don't want to ride the horse, it is only a stallion just to look at, that's a different question. This mind is to be used. Therefore, you need absolute control of the mind. Nowadays they call it emotional intelligence, EQ, ability to manage your emotions. Again, that's not cultivated in this culture. This culture says that let everything hang out. And as a result of that, lot of unpleasantness, lot of things are lost and missed in this culture. So control over of your emotions. Emotions will surge, lot of emotions. And how are you going to manage it is very, very important. And it also involves reducing your desires. To control your emotion means to reduce your desires, because desire is fuel for emotion. I want this, I want that, I want everything. So that becomes a fuel for your emotion. That's why you are angry. Suppose when something is denied to you, you cannot just take it. Immediately you must grab it or you are angry. So he says, Mano nigraha, command and control over the mind, which is possible by reducing the desire, by channelizing the direction of your desire. You have to change the direction of your desire. For example, desiring to learn this, that's a changing the direction of your desire. This also is a desire. You can desire to sleep. You did not do that. Instead you desire to learn this. That's a great change. That's a changing the direction. And then you can change the direction. You can change the quality of your desire. The quality. Not only change the direction, the quality, the intensity of your desire. So change of direction, change of quality, reducing the desire. These aspects are not looked into. We can do that. Don't say you are a victim of your desires. You have to be a master of your desires. So that Manodigraha involves all this. A kind of a training is necessary. Otherwise you may create enormous material prosperity but mental poverty. You become like a man suffering from fever. There is a beautiful lunch laid out on the table, but you cannot taste nothing. Why? Fever. There is no, the taste buds are not functioning, active. You don't taste at all. Then you are angry. Everybody is eating, and then you are the only person who doesn't eat. You don't eat and you are angry. You criticize everybody. You understand? And then you turn spiritual also. So because you cannot do anything. Understand? So to deprive others, you create a philosophy. The idea is that you are not able to enjoy the whole thing. Most of spirituals are like that. It is the grapes are sour philosophy. You are not able to enjoy it, therefore let nobody enjoy it. Why are you not able to enjoy? Because the mind is so crooked and tortured. So you cannot see the beauty of the outside world, or because there is no beauty inside. So the mind should be under discipline. Then you can enjoy everything. So, mano nigraha, control over the mind. It has to be understood properly, because it is misunderstood that suppress the mind. Suppress all desires. That's not what is meant here. Again, a viveka is to be applied there. Certain desires you have to nourish, certain desires you have to change the direction, certain desires you have to deepen. Otherwise your mind will be like a wild forest. Here you are trimming it and training it. Mano nigraha. So basically it is reducing the desires. Nowadays in management circle we call it prioritizing. Prioritizing your desires. The ability to prioritize is a great mental exercise, emotional exercise. And then trying to focus on the most important task, then accomplish it, then come to the next, then come to the next. And sometimes while you are focusing on the most important, you are also able to attend to 2-3 other desires also. Thus you can progress, he says. Their ability to focus, to prioritize also is a mano nigraha. And great achievers have their capacity to focus. So mano nigraha. So basically it's emotions. Control over your emotions, anger, jealousy, irritations, etc. You must have certain. And this cannot be accomplished while you are angry. While you are angry, period. There should be a discipline throughout the life. When I am angry, what should I do? Mano nigraha, and try to control. It doesn't help. There should be a discipline which you do every day, like exercise. So mano nigraha. Continuing. So, and in India you have these ridiculous examples for mano nigraha. Because Indians are hyper, their explanations are all hyper explanations. So mano nigraha, here is a sannyasi. Because sannyasi is the guinea pigs in India. All the values are put on them. So here is a sannyasi. He comes after a bath, he goes to the Ganga for a bath and he comes. And the young man comes and spit on his face. Sannyasi just wipes. Maybe this man, the spit fell on me, he must have meant something else, or he was spitting on somebody else, he could not distinguish because of my beard, etc., etc. Therefore, sannyasi goes back, takes a bath. Again this man spits. And said he spats. Ultimately he got so tired. This young man got tired, exhausted. And he prostrated to the sannyasi. You are the greatest man I have seen. Because in spite of all this repeated spitting, you did not spit back. You are the greatest. I am yet to see such a sannyasi, but it's an ideal. It's an ideal where what is shown is the enormous capacity and patience. And it is possible. But our problem is, beyond a limit, if we are pressed, then we show our true colors. Don't we say that? Beyond, I am end of my patience, end of my limit. But here, or another example, sannyasi trying to save a scorpion. Whenever he tried to lift the scorpion, it stings. So he, in great pain, he shakes it. Again he lifted. Again it stings. Somebody said, Maharaj, why do you do this? What do you get out of it? Sannyasi, the scorpion is doing its duty. I am doing my duty. It's my dharma to save. It is the scorpion dharma to sting. That is his nature. So that kind of an attitude, enormous control over your reaction. And it makes your life much easier. There is a lot of fun in life then. It is not a suppression. It is a very funny, interesting experience. Lot of fun in the process. Your whole life can be a very interesting experience. Manonikrah. Now, Dhamma kaha. What is called Dhamma? Chachuradi. Bhāhyendriya nigraha. So Dhamma is Bhāhyendriya nigraha. Nigraha means control. Control of the external sense organ. External sense organ. And organs of activity, actions, motor organs and sense organ. What you see, what you taste, what you smell, what you touch, what you hear. Exercise a certain discrimination there. Some discrimination. So what you hear? You don't have to hear all that is going on in the world. You don't have to read all that is printed in the world. You don't have to eat all that is available in the restaurant. It is available, but that does not mean you have to eat it. So thus, certain discrimination is applied in your enjoyment or in your interaction with the world. That is called, so chakshu means eyes, adi means etc., eyes, ears, nose, all these organs of perception and organs of action also, hand, leg, etc. So all these are to be disciplined. Discrimination is to be applied there. Do you need this? Do you need this for the promotion of your pursuits? So that discrimination. Sometimes you say, oh, lot is shown on the TV. Let it be shown. Why are you watching the TV? Don't you have a control? If something is not appealing to you, don't watch it. No, I have to watch it. Understand? You can apply your discrimination and say this is not for me. Maybe some consumers for that kind of stuff. Now what are we thinking? Then we are thinking about them. They are very bad people. They should be eliminated from the world. You don't have to think about it. The world is so wide. You take only what is necessary. So Dhamma means a certain control over what comes into you. Shama means a control over what goes out of you. Shama, because your responses to the world is under control. And what you take from the world also is under control. So this discriminative selection is necessary. What you take through the five sense organs and what you respond through the organs of action and your thought processes. So that's another way of putting it. So Shama means control over how you respond to the world. Dhamma means control over what you receive things from the world. Chachuradi Bhāhyendriya nigraha. So there is less clutter inside and less clutter. There is a lot of space. A lot of space inside your mind and outside your environment. You can see such people when you walk into their house. There are very little things. A lot of space. They create more space. Inside also there is a lot of space. Then life becomes very, very simple. So Chakshuradi Bhāhyendriya nigraha. Continuing. Uparama kaha. What is Uparama? So we have seen Shama, Dhamma, Uparama. Meaning of Uparama. Uparama, the technical meaning, etymological meaning for Uparama is Upe Ramadi, revel in oneself, be with oneself. What is that self is not still clear to you, but an ability to be comfortable with yourself, with what you are doing, where you are, how you are comfortable. Most of us are not. We are never comfortable with what we are doing. Where we are, who we are not comfortable. As I told you yesterday, we always want to be something else, somewhere else, to do something else. See, you are not happy with what you are doing now, you want to do something else. And when you start doing that, you are again unhappy. Uparama means ability to be comfortable with oneself, comfortable with one's own aloneness, be silent, etc. So Uparamaha, here Shankaracharya's definition is Swadharmanushtanameva. Uparama means diligent performance of one's duties. Swadharma means one's duties. Anushtanam means performance. So one has to enjoy performing one's duties. Duties are that which is expected of you. What is expected of you are your duties. So certain things are expected of you by people because you are living in a community. Your children expect something, parents expect something, society expects something. Your own system expects something. So daily exercise is a duty. No, most of us don't want to do that boring exercises. But it's a duty. You have to do it. Or your duty towards your children, your family, etc., etc. So those duties are to be performed. You have to create a healthy habits. That's the meaning of that. That is called Uparama. So most of our struggles are because we don't enjoy what we are expected to do. We don't enjoy it. It has become a burden. Like children, their textbook they don't never study. They study all other books. And those books which they read, when they become textbook, again they don't read. Therefore he says, so one has to develop a certain interest. This is my duty. I have to perform it, whether I like it or not. That kind of a attitude is called Uparama. So there is no struggle in your life. Because I have seen the more you avoid doing it, the more the same work will come upon you. Because who else will do it? You try to avoid it, run away from it, again it comes. Now we have to spend more time on that. It's better to do all your work, then come to the spiritual study, he says. So spiritual study requires an inner space, leisure. That leisure is gained by doing all the duties, then come to the spiritual. Otherwise, it will be only a reaction again. That reaction will not take you further. So, Swadharmanushtanameva. So, you have to ask that question. If suppose you are not able to concentrate on what the study, one reason could be there is duties undone or not performed. As a result, it creates confusion. Part of your mind is there. And all the time the mind goes back because some of the duties are not done. So therefore do all those, then come back. Suppose you have an appointment at 12 o'clock and you are sitting here. Your mind will be there. So the Guru will say, go and do that, then come back. The Guru will sit here because he has nothing else to do. He is a very leisurely person. He is an unemployed person. He made himself to be an unemployed person. All the time is available, leisurely, liberated. Therefore, he says, do all those duties, and then come back. So dharmanushtanameva, a strict observance of duty, which involves some sacrifice on your side. You have to do it. Finally, tidiksha ka. What is known as tidiksha? What is tidiksha? Definition: Shidoshna Sukha Dukkhadi Sahishnutvam. This is another ability which is not seen in the modern world. Sahishnutvam, endurance, toleration. Endurance of what? Shida, Ushna, Adi. Shida means cold, Ushna means heat, Adi means etc. Meaning heat, cold, pleasure, pain, success, failure, profit, loss, hunger, thirst. Endurance. These 8 things. Heat, cold. Heat and cold. Do you have patience? You have endurance. Mercury goes a little up, it is very hot. Little down, very cold. And all your thoughts are centered around that. As a result, you cannot go deep inside. So, Shida, Ushna. Then Sukha, Dukh, pleasure and pain. Little bit of pain will be there, sitting little bit of pain. Little bit of pleasure and pain. Again you are excited. Profit and loss. Gain and loss. Again you are excited about. And hunger and thirst. No control over hunger and thirst. I must be very hungry. 1 o'clock I must be very hungry. Are you really hungry is a next question. I am not saying you should not eat. What I am saying is you don't have to eat all this what we are eating. It is not necessary. The body has enough reserve to carry you along. You don't have to eat all this. So, Shida, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkadi, Sahishnutvam, endurance. And if you allow the body to manage this, the body will be able to manage. I tell you, in the Himalayas, I have seen people, Himalaya is very, very cold. The temperature can go down to minus 40 degrees Celsius. And snow can go up to 15 feet. And there are these sannyasis who are stark naked. They don't wear anything. No shoes, no coat or no nothing. In their birth suit, they don't wear anything. But they wear ashes. They smear themselves with ashes and happily going around. Happily going around. You and I may not be able to do that, but what I say is that the body has this capacity to adjust to situation. So we don't have to get upset easily when things are not conducive or as per our expectation. Body has the capacity. So too pleasure and pain, so too praise and criticism, another intolerance. Somebody praises you, get excited, criticize you, feel depressed. Let him do that, let him criticize and pray. Why do you worry about? You focus on the task at hand. So can we do that is the question. Because these small temptations can distract you. You pick up a quarrel with somebody or get excited about somebody. So you deviate from the path. You don't go like a arrow, he says. So Shida, Ushna, and this is good for a successful family life also, I tell you. All these values are good for a successful family life, spiritual life and a social life. Shidoshna, Sukha Dukkhadi, Sahishnutvam. Now, Shraddha Kidrishi. Now what do you know as Shraddha? What is Shraddha? It's a very key word in the Vedantic literature. Shraddha. The Gita it is said, Shraddhavan labhade jnanam tatpada samyadendriya jnanam labdhva param shantim nachireyanadhigacchati shraddhavan labade jnanam. Man of faith gains wisdom. Because faith is something, a natural impulse we have to cultivate. Faith is an instantaneous empathy for the Vedantics or the spiritual statements. You don't know it, but you feel it. Knowledge will follow the feeling. Suppose the Guru says you can make it, and you have faith in the words of the teacher. Otherwise you can say, no, I have never made it. I don't think I'll be able to make it. So faith is an instantaneous empathy for the Guru or the scripture says. You believe in it. Believe, no trace of doubt at all. Science begins from doubt. Religion begins with faith. That is the difference between science and religion. Both ask questions. Religious people also ask questions to know the truth. So in religion you must have some. In fact, science also have faith. They know that there is some law underlying the universe, that's why they are searching. If they don't have that faith, they will never undertake that search. So I think both science and spirituality begins with this fundamental faith in something, and they are searching for that. So Shraddha kidrishi Shraddhavan labhate jnanam Shraddhamayoyam purusha. Your whole life depends upon what kind of faith you have. What do you invest your faith in? Your trust and belief and faith. Now here Shankara's definition of faith is a very ordinary definition, practical definition. Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasaha Shraddha, he says. Shraddha, faith, is belief in the words of the scripture and the teacher. You may not understand what the exact meaning of the scriptural statements or the teacher statement, but you believe that there is some meaning. I may not understand it. You give the benefit of the doubt to the teacher. Must be saying something. He appeals to some deep aspirations in me. So faith in the words of the teacher and the scripture. Because teacher has to teach with the help of the scriptures. So Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu. So what are the scriptures? We have already seen different traditions have their own scripture. The scripture that we deal with is the Bhagavad Gita, the 10 Upanishads and the Brahma Sutra, and the vision enshrined in those texts. That's what we are trying to do. If you follow some other tradition, they have their own scriptures. But all these scriptures should talk about the ultimate truth. That is the criterion. If they don't talk about the ultimate truth, then they cannot be called a scripture. So you cannot say a book on physics a scripture. It's not a scripture. It may be a scripture for the physics student, but you cannot call it a scripture from the higher standpoint. So Shraddha one has to have, and if we don't have faith in the words of teacher, there is no progress possible. So some faith is necessary. So how do we know that my faith will be rewarded? My faith is will take me to the truth. How do we know? There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. That is the meaning of faith. If somebody gives you a guarantee, foolproof guarantee, then there is no faith. Your faith means you are ready to take the risk. And if you don't take the risk, as they say, the only risk is that you don't take the risk. You have to take the risk. And that is the excitement, that is the joy, that is the beauty of that. Take the risk. So Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasa. Now there are 2-3 questions more which we will deal in our next session.